Nebraska is really the epicenter of food production. It's one of the real epicenter points of the world for the food system. So we live in the breadbasket of North America, which is one of the greatest breadbaskets of the world. Nebraska is heavily an agriculturally based state, where the vast majority of our economy, 1 in 3 jobs here are tied to agriculture and food production systems. So it's obviously of importance to Nebraskans because agriculture is the core of who we are as a state and an economy here. That is because we're blessed with the resources that we have to produce that food in that food system. So at a base level understanding, every Nebraskan, whether they're engaged in agriculture and the food system directly or not, should understand and care about the issues that this is about, that we are about feeding the world, and that we have a greater challenge ahead of us in being a major epicenter of that production system. No matter how you look at it, if you look at food crops or feedstock crops, think corn and soybeans, dry beans in Nebraska would be the big 3 here, wheat, big 4. Or in the livestock system, where we're the #1 commercial red meat production state in the United States, which is, of course, a leader in the world in red meat production. We are, I use that term over and over again, we are at the center of that equation in how we think about how to best use those resources, how to better understand how to best use those resources long term. Every Nebraskan should care about that and realize that our state is so critical to the future of the whole picture. Well, at the Institute of Ag and Natural Resources, we have a very large portfolio of faculty and staff that are engaged across all of the areas that we think of as disciplines in the sciences for agriculture and natural resource sustainability and use. So we have a wide range of programs where much of those efforts are focused on how we continue to increase productivity, increase the efficiency with which we produce food crops or animal inputs into the food system. So if there was a single large emphasis mission of the land grant work that we do within IANR, it's focused on how can we produce more with less, more sustainably, right? So more food, more fuel, with less water, with less land resources, with less capital required per unit of production. So still trying to enhance the efficiency that we can bring food products to the market. We're stewards of the creation we've been given. I'm a firm believer in that. We've been given a planet that is ours to be stewards of. And one of the base requirements of the stewardship of that is that's given to us to produce what we need from it for our own health and sustenance. So every Nebraskan should feel that's important, that's a responsibility that we all have. But not every Nebraskan is going to be involved in producing the food. But they need to understand that as a state, we need to pay careful attention to the maintenance of the resources that we have, that we need to have the right kind of system in place that conserves those resources in the right way, that uses them wisely. So that's where you get into the situation of the state understanding the importance of agriculture, the state understanding the importance of the support of that, because it's so much a base of who we are. And we've been studying over about the last year and a half how the university can rethink the way that we use some of our resources and people resources across all of the campuses of the University of Nebraska. So at UNL, at the University of Nebraska in Omaha, and in Kearney, and at the Med Center in Omaha, at the College of Technical Agriculture in Curtis. So all of our campuses, how can we take expertise across all the sectors that are going to help inform this rural future? So healthcare, nutrition, finance, new business development, infrastructure. What does our road system need to look like in the future? What do we need to have regional centers instead of smaller towns spread more universally across the landscape? That's the kind of discussion that we think is going to be important for the region in the future. So we're excited about that. We're planning to develop that institute and launch it this fall as a new way of thinking about the land grant mission now going out into the next decades ahead. I really believe that we're sitting at the very front end of a complete renaissance for agriculture in the world. In order to meet those challenges that are out there ahead of us, we're right at the cusp of that. And we're seeing that in what some are calling the golden age for agriculture. That may be what lies ahead of us. We may be in the very front end of that golden age for agriculture.